Back in 1986, I was the owner of one of the very early quilt shops here in the UK, and we saw the introduction of rotary cutting, which was a huge game changer for those of us who had only ever used templates made from cereal packets before this series of equipment, which is now a staple within the quilting industry. I still maintain the same teaching technique that I developed back then along with the rest of my staff, and I've been teaching with this for many, many years. I hope you find that it gives you confidence to cut safely and accurately. What you will need is the minimum of a 24 by 17 inch cutting mat. This is because the width of a quilting fabric is 45 inches or 115 centimetres. This ensures that when the fabric comes off the bolt and is cut, it is able to fit completely onto that 24-inch length of the mat. You will also need a 24-inch ruler. My favourite ruler is a 6-inch ruler. You have to remember, when I started, there were very few rulers available, and this was one of the few. I place the ruler onto my fabric like this, and we always need a second. And in this instance, I'm going to be using a 6-inch square, my other favourite. I'm going to place this onto my fabric, and it is this ruler that I'm going to use to line up on the folded edge of my fabric. Do you see how the fabric is coming from the right-hand side? If you are left-handed, you will need to bring the fabric from the alternative side. We're then going to place our ruler here very, very carefully along this line, making a note that the fabric edge is going through the black dots. When I've got this absolutely right in the right place with a minimum of wastage underneath my ruler, I'm able then to line up this ruler against my square. This ensures that I have a perfect 90-degree angle here. I'm sure you're all used to having little W's in the fold of your cut. I'm then going to use my rotary cutter. I prefer a 45, and I'm still using at home my original 45mm cutter. We're going to place this up against the ruler, and if you look, I am absolutely parallel at 90 degrees, to the edge of the ruler. I have not yet retracted my blade. Because I am cutting with a precision instrument, I have my index finger on the grip that is showing. I am not dropping with my wrist, and I am not cutting here. I'm going to be pushing it very, very smoothly at a 45-degree angle. So my weight of my hand is on the ruler, and I'm now going to retract the blade and start to push. I don't exceed the point of my fingers, but I take my weight to the front, bring my thumb underneath and push forward without moving the ruler. It's going to come forward, forward, forward. That way you're getting the same measurement from top to finish, and you can see I've already closed my blade. When I take this off, I should have a nice clean cut and pull away. We're now ready to be able to do our first cut off width of our fabric. So in this case, I'm actually going to be cutting a 3.5-inch strip. So I'm going to lay the strip, the ruler on the strip of fabric, and I'm very carefully going to use the markings on the ruler to intersect very carefully with the fold on my fabric. I'm then going to ensure all the way along the length, the little black dots that are on my ruler are on the edge of the fabric. Okay, once I'm doing that, I'm again going to cut. So I'm going to put my hand straight down on the ruler. I'm always standing in an upright position at a comfortable height, and I have my blade in my right hand. I'm going to line the cutter up at 90 degrees to the ruler. I'm going to have my hand, and my angle is going to be at 45 degrees. So it's going to be a straight piece from my elbow through my wrist, through my finger to my tip. I'm going to place that down, and then I'm going to release the blade by pulling backwards, and then I'm going to cut forwards away from my body. I'm going to walk up the ruler, never exceeding my point of my fingers, and then come to the end of my cut, put the blade back on, and then I can put it down. This will then give me one very clean 3.5 inch strip, and I'm treating it very, very gently because I don't want it to come apart. If I was then quite happy and I didn't need to cut any more of that fabric, I can turn it away. If I needed another cut, I would lift the fabric out of the way, and then I can place the ruler on again and do another cut. I wouldn't ever cut more than, say, 6 inches off a piece of fabric unless I re-straightened again, because as you will find that as you walk through, you do need just a fine tune to straighten. So if I take my fabric off, and now we're going to use the strip that I cut earlier, and I want some 3.5 inch squares. Now I can use it as a fold, but I would need to be very careful about my alignment on 4 layers, as opposed to now where I've actually just got the 2 layers to align. I'm now going to use a smaller ruler because using this one I'm going to lose all sorts of my belly. So I'm actually going to then lay this across me here. Okay, and if you notice the way I've changed my position, and I'm actually moving the mat, so I can line up on a line here and a line here very accurately, and then I can just cut from right to left to take away the selvage edge. I never cut the selvage edge off because we would need to make that trim anyway when we were cutting. So I'm going to move that back so I'm straight, and then we're going to come down here, and I'm going to take a 3.5 inch measurement on here. So there's my 3.5 here and my 3.5 there. And I'm going to make sure that the angle across here is going to give me my 3.5. So again, putting the blade down, cutting away from me, I then have my 3.5 inch square. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you would like to learn more about rotary cutting techniques or anything else that we put onto our social media, please subscribe to Quilt Direct. Thank you.